Hello, ladies. This is Master Gene Orlovsky, and my name is Doug Cook. If you remember, during our session at the United Nations, which we were very honored to provide for you in self-defense, we had promised you that we would provide a video to use in conjunction with the handout sheet that we made for you, right? This is the front, this is the back, it's laminated, so it's safe, you know, and so that's the purpose of this video, is to use as a guide physically and visually to add to the written techniques, right? So if you recall, the very first thing we taught you is what we call the defense stance, right? And when we did the defense stance, you can stand just the way you are, Gina. Sure. We took our right fist and pushed it down by our right side and brought our left hand across by the ear, and we stepped back. We didn't step forward, we stepped back and brought the hands across the chest, okay? So the purpose of this front hand is to block any incoming blows and keep it chin height. The other fist is closed and by the chest, and the elbow is down to protect the rib cage, and this is there to protect this side of the rib cage, right? So that's called the defense stance. So you can see that Master Orlovsky is in that position right now. This is terrific, but the person is starting to, stay there, sure. The person is starting to advance on you, and what we suggested to you is to open the hands to show non-aggression. Obviously, this would signal aggression, right? A tight fist, right? It says, oh, I'm going to get hit. Open hand is different, right? It's suggesting non-aggression, which you are very much aware of. And what we're suggesting you to do is stop, move back, stop. That way, if there's any bystanders, passers-by, they can hear that you're trying to diffuse the situation rather than add to it. It'll also draw attention to you as well. So let's see that. So open the hands.
Stop! Stop!
Okay, so you see what she did, right? The louder you say that, the greater chance of them being startled, for one thing, the greater chance of you attracting attention. And these days, you never can tell. If you ever wind up litigating it in court, you can have witnesses to say that person tried to stop, they verbally tried to diffuse the situation. So that's very helpful in that case. Okay, so that was the first thing we worked on, this defense stance and the open hand stop. Then we worked on the what we call the jab and the reverse punch. Okay, and I'm going to grab a target, so like we did for you, so Master Orlovsky can show you. All right, Gene, defense stance.
Yep.
And I'm using Master Orlovsky's first name. It was an instruction video, right? Typically in class, I would always refer her in a more respectful way to Master Orlovsky. Now she's going to use that front hand first, and then she's going to pivot in and use that back hand. And again, we call this the jab and the reverse punch, okay? Hana. Toad. Set. Can you see that? Now, you would do this on both sides, obviously, but the shortest distance between 2 points, as we know, is a straight line, right? So the front hand wants to come out straight, and then as you bring it back, you're turning your left shoulder in and letting that right hand come out straight. So you're not doing these big sloppy motions that waste time and also open you up to exposure, right? So it's one, straight out, two, and then come back to that defensive posture, right? So let's watch Master Orlovsky do this again. Hana. See how that's straight? Do. Set. Thank you, Gene. I'm counting in Korean. I don't know if we were doing that at the seminar, and I think we were, right? There was a few Korean words that I used. That's one of them, is I'm counting in Korean. The next one we learned is using the back of the hand. We call that the back fist, right? So rather than using that front two knuckles, we use that back, the back of the hand in a whipping motion. And then perhaps one of the most important techniques that we taught you that night is the palm heel strike, right? Now the body has 4 heels. Did you know that? It has 2 on the bottom and 2 on the hands. 2 on the feet, 2 on the hands, right? So the most effective use of the palm heel would be up under the chin, which is pretty convenient because most attackers, I would say, you would assume might be taller than you, right? So it shouldn't be too difficult to come up under the chin. As I mentioned during the seminar, this is potentially a 100% knockout rate, according to statistics from various magazines and organizations, the military, police, things like that. So coming up under the chin with that strike is a very useful technique, right? So what we're going to do, Gene, please come over here. You're going to be in your defense stance. This is always the null position or the start position. I'm going to do back fist, so I'm using that back of the knuckles. One, and then I came in up under the chin. Very effective technique, right? Back fist, palm heel. Okay, so let's watch Master Orlovsky do this. And let me get a target again so that you can see how she's doing this, all right? Ready?
Sir.
Hand up. See that? Do it. Set. All right, so again, up under the chin with that palm heel. If you were splayed on the floor and they were holding your shoulders and you had your hands free, you can still do that palm heel up under the chin. So if you take nothing away from this lesson, remember the palm heel. Very, very useful technique, okay? And you see how we applied it, right? The next was a shoulder grab, all right? Someone comes in and grabs you by the shoulders, grabs the arms. It would be better if it's in a position like this, right? You reach in and you grab their shoulders and you step back, and I'm stepping back with my right leg just as a matter of course. You can step back with the left leg as well. And you pull them down and you come in with what? The knee strike, remember that? You come in with the knee strike, right? Now you can see the effectiveness of that. The other thing that you might want to do is hit the groin, okay? Do you remember what we said at the seminar? You hit somebody there, chances are we're going to see some results in the form of liquid coming out of the mouth, or so you want to move your head out of the way of that, and also as they're coming forward, you want to move your head out of the way. So they're grabbing me, right? I reach and grab here, I see my head is going off to the side, and I come in with that knee strike. You want to learn a little Korean? That's called murup chilgi, knee strike, okay? So again, another effective technique, right? And then we taught you another hard part of the body to apply for self-defense, and those are the elbows. And when I asked you to name them, you were doing that, right? And again, just to reiterate, what we're doing and what we did at that seminar is point out to you tools of self-defense that you already own. It's part of your body, right? Our job was just to name these tools and show you how to use them correctly, right? Gene, can you sit in the horse stance? All right, now I don't think we did this in the horse stance. We didn't have time to teach you these particular stances. But what we're going to do is run over the 5 elbow strikes again. Okay, we had elbow strikes, right? So the first one was upward under the chin, okay? Second one was downward on the spine if you have the person down. The next is around to the chin. The next is sideways to the rib cage or the temple, depending on the height of the person. And the next is straight back to the solar plexus if you were in a bear hug like this, which we come to next in a minute, okay? So the first one is up, next one is down, next one is around, next one is side, next one is back. Now you can do it with the other side too. So up, down, around, side, and back. Now, Master Orlovsky is in what we call horse stance. Okay, this is a standard stance that we use for practice. You don't have to do this in a horse stance. You could be standing upright like this and practice this way. But it's great exercise, at minimum, great exercise. Good for flexibility, but really good for self-defense. Okay, Master Orlovsky, that's great. So those are the 5 elbow strikes, okay? The next thing we taught you was, because Taekwondo is known for its supreme kicking techniques, is the very first kick that we teach in our classes, which is the front kick, all right? And we suggested you use the instep, right? Now, I think I pointed out that if I was kicking above the groin, we would use something called the ball of the foot, the very front of the foot, and we curl the toes back, right? But we don't want you to do that. We're teaching what we call, remember what we call these? Bash and dash techniques, right? Techniques where you get in and get out. Bash and dash, right? So we taught you to kick the groin, right? And we're going to be in our defense stance to protect our face in our midsection, and then come forward and kick. So let's watch Master Orlovsky do those kicks. Right, she's going to emit that, what we call the kia, Kiap is an expression of internal energy, and it also scares the living daylights out of your opponent. Hana. Dul. Set. Net. Right, now you see where I'm holding a target. I don't expect you to do this. If you ever, you can go online and get these things, by the way, called kicking paddles, right? I'm holding my groin height because that's what she's practicing to hit. If I held up here, it wouldn't be very useful, would it? Hana. Dul. Set. Thank you, ma'am. All right, now the next kick, and I'm pretty sure we went over this. My mind has bad memory. We were in a defense stance, and we used our front leg to hit the back of the leg here, the back of the thigh. It's a very effective technique. It'll cause the leg to spasm. The person will probably go down, and in that case, you make your getaway. You don't stand there and go, oh, no, I'm going to punch them, palm heel. You get out of there as fast as you can. Self-defense is about extricating yourself from an unprovoked attack. It's not about injuring somebody else, right? That's you put yourself in legal jeopardy for that. So, Jean, I want you, let's do it this way.
Yes.
Okay, that's good, yeah. Okay, so here I would be in my defense stance. Now look, I'm going to do this very slowly. Take your front leg, skip in for momentum, right? And you pick up that knee a little bit, and boom, you're kicking right between the buttock and the knee, right in this section right here. And if you hit hard enough, again, they can go down. Boom, right? Now watch, Master Orlovsky will do it to me. See that? That was good, right? Again. Good, I can feel that, and she's just tapping me. She's being very nice. One more time. Oh, I like this. One more time. Good. Oh, that was a good one. All right, so that's called an instep round kick, a hop step round kick, because you're taking a little hop in. And again, that can be very, very useful if you have something in your hands, if you're holding a baby. You know, hopefully you never get in a situation like that, but who knows? You can have, anything can be possible, which you need to be prepared for. So even if I did this, right, clutching in and use that front leg, your leg is longer and stronger than your arms. Hitting like this is almost like taking a bat and hitting the back of the leg, right? So that's a very useful technique, right? So we went over quite a few things. Those were all the bash and dash techniques, right? The next part, part two, which we come to now, open the curtains, right, is the grabbing techniques, which we refer to as Chosun in Korean, which literally means self-defense. Let me move these targets out of the way so Master Orlovsky doesn't trip. And all of these techniques, can you come here?
Yes, sir.
All of these techniques, no, I'm sorry, come over here again.
Yes, sir.
We're assuming that people are right-handed. That's a big assumption to make, right? But that is true. The greater amount of the populace are right-handed, so we practice with right-hand techniques. It'll work, all of these techniques will work on both sides, so I just want to make a point of that. So Master Orlovsky is going to grab my left hand with her right. Okay, now come a little closer to the camera, please. You'll notice that this is a point that I don't know if I really fine-tuned it at the seminar, but there's skin and bone here. There's no way we're going to get out of this, right? But here is a doorway, an opening right here between the fingers, right? Now let go for a second, man. My wrist has width this way, and it has width this way. But as you can see, this is less width than this. So in a self-defense situation, we want to be as efficient as possible. So I'm not going to try to struggle getting out this way because there's no way I'm going to do it, right? But here's that little doorway, and I turn my wrist down, so the thin part of the wrist is here, and this will work almost all the time. I closed my left fist, and I grabbed it with my right hand. I pulled out, right, picked up my left leg, and I come in with that sideways knee strike. Sideways elbow strike, right? The sideways elbow strike, right? So the method on here is turn the wrist so the palm is facing downward. Try to make a fist so you can grab it yourself, right? This will help you to pull out. Pull out, pick up the left leg, step down, and again, this is my horse stance, so you may as well use it, and push push the elbow in sideways, right? Sideways to your body. That's called one of the 5 elbow strikes. This is the sideways elbow strike. So let's watch Master Orlovsky do this, okay? So I'm grabbing her, see, okay?
Shot!
Oh, right? And again, watch out, right? It's when you hit in the stomach, you know what can happen, right?
Shot.
Okay, so there's your sideways elbow strike. That was the first technique we taught. Again, think of grabbing your fist and pulling it out, because that's going to help, right? That's going to help you. All right, the second one that we did was the same type of grab, right? Here, please.
Sir.
The same type of grab. Now, when would you use one over the other? Short answer is height, the height of your attacker, right? So remember, I suggested taking your right foot and stepping in, taking your right hand and placing the thumb on what we call the magic button, or the center of the hand, and reaching in with the fingers on the pinky side of the hand. I don't know if you can see that, right? And then do your release again. See how my thin part of my wrist pulled out? And I match the thumbs. See how the thumbs are together? Bring the hand in a big arc over towards your head and step in with your left leg. Now, don't give up your height advantage. That's really important. You want to be as tall as you possibly can. Place the tip of your elbow on your attacker's elbow. Keep the fingers pointing north. Okay, this is really fine detail. And push down on that elbow. That should break the arm, right? Now, this is brutal, I understand, but we're calling it self-defense, right? The reason that works is physics, science, right? The arm bends nicely this way, but it does not like to bend this way. Hates to bend that way, right? So again, for the second one, this was number 2, right? We stepped in, reached over, placed the thumb on the middle knuckle, did a big arcing motion with the hand and stepping in. Now see how we're both facing this direction towards the camera? The fingers are facing upwards. Right? I'm pushing the wrist in. There's a wrist lock here. Now this is the detail, I understand. Put the elbow on the elbow. You stay tall. Stay as tall as you can for leverage. And push down on the elbow while leaving the hand by the face. Right? You don't want to do this. It's not going to work. You see the difference, right? So the fingers are up, boom, push down on the elbow. All right? So that was your second one, okay? Let me just consult my list here so I make sure we get them all. Okay, next one was here. All right, so someone grabbed this side first 2 times. Third one here, they're grabbing both wrists, right? Now, we did this from the shoulders before. We used the knee strike. What we're gonna do here is we're not gonna try to lift weights. Right, but if she's really strong or he's really strong, it's going to be very hard to struggle to lift your hands up. And it's just going to aggravate the situation. So what we're doing is pulling down and out. Remember that phrase, down and out, right? And we're going to step back with that right leg. It'll work with the left leg too, but step back with the right leg as you pull down and out. Look at my head. See, they're coming at me like a locomotive with that head. I'm moving my head aside and I can keep my hands in the position here. They're probably going to hold on. We're assuming that, right? There's a lot of assumptions made in these self-defense techniques because they don't want to fall forward. You're breaking their balance. And you come in with that knee, here, right? So let me do it with Master Lusky. Let me show you how that would work. So here's the big, strong, tough guy. Hey, lady, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do that a little quicker with that knee strike now. Okay, so here's the grab, and I'm holding on tight. There it is, okay? And she's going to move her head to the side so my forward motion doesn't hit her in the nose. That would be very painful. And also she's moving it aside in case she gets the reaction of vomit, right? Which is possible. You get kicked in the groin from a man, that's very possible, right? So that was the third one that we did. The next one we did is fairly interesting. Because you don't have to remove the hand from the garment, right? She's going to grab my lapel. Now remember, I was being very frank with you. I was being candid with you. I was saying they can grab your breast, right? They can grab a section of your middle blouse or shirt. In this case, she's grabbing my lapel, right? This will work for any of those situations. Again, I take my right leg and I step in slightly, right? Because I want that hip motion is important. And I take my right hand, come over the top of the hand, but I'm not putting the thumb on the middle knuckle this time. I'm wrapping it around the entire hand. And my pinkies are going to be right on her wrist. I twist the hand over. See how it's still on my shirt? my uniform, I haven't struggled to take it off. Take my left hand and I do the same motion that I did with my right. My pinkies are on the crease of her wrist. Now here's the important part. The back of the hand has to be facing that direction, not up and not down. You don't want to over-rotate or under-rotate, right? So the pinkies are on the wrist and my thumbs are supporting the thumb section of her hand. You can step back a little bit with your right leg, and she's already feeling the pain. I haven't done anything yet. Bear down on the wrist, right on this part here where the hand meets the arm, right there. You want to take the pinkies and bear down. This is really painful. It's a wrist lock. Works off the same principle that we did with the arm lock. The wrist doesn't want to be in that position. It doesn't look like much is happening there, but believe me, I think you remember the teachers doing it, right? It works really, really well, and it's great for women's self-defense, right? So that's just a simple wrist lock. That's what that's called, all right? Consult my list again, make sure I've got everything going here. There are a few more. Okay, so the next was the grab from behind, right? You're standing here and someone comes and gives you what we call the bear hug, right? Now remember I said, don't struggle to try to get out of it like lifting weights. You want to use physics again and drop your center and raise your elbows, almost like the wings of a bird, right? To this position here. See, I'm not above my face, right? And I didn't have to struggle to come up underneath those arms, right? So she had the bear hug. I step out with my left leg in this case because I need a center line to do the next technique. See that? So look here, all exposed. If I did this, which will work by the way, okay, that, and then you can run. You can do it with both legs if you have to. And use your own weight to make yourself drop. This is I didn't show this at the seminar, but you can do this, right? Both legs out and drop your center. In this case, we're going to add two techniques if you remember though, right? So we step out with the left leg, pull the shoulders up. See how my hands are in front of my face, back of my hands? We did a hammer fist to the groin, hammer fist using this part of your hand, and typically they would come forward and we met them with a back fist, right? So watch how that would work. So here's the big guy again, the big bully, right? So one, oh. See that? Yeah, no, it was just, I don't think it had the others back there. Let me just check, she mentioned something. Yes, she was right. Mistake on that one, okay? We did the elbow strike first. She's right, the back elbow strike. So we came out, broke the grab, did an elbow strike, right? That's going to be startling in itself. And then we did the hammer fist, and then we did the back fist. So three techniques, right? Elbow strike, that's the back elbow strike. Remember we taught that, right? Hammer fist, back fist. All right, so let's watch Mr. Olevsky do that. So I've got her build the bullies here, right? So,
Help! Help! Help!
and then back. Okay, I'm an actor. All right, so I just did that. Look, that's most likely result from the technique that we taught, right? So this horse stance, as I mentioned, is something we use a lot in what we do in Taekwondo, traditional Taekwondo, as opposed to the sport, right? But it sets you up for a very solid base. You did the back elbow strike. Remember, we had the 5 elbow strikes. This is the back. Boom, the hammer fist, right? Using the bottom part of the hand like a hammer. And then you came with that back fist using the first 2 knuckles. Now, ideally, if you were able to gauge it underneath the nose, the philtrum, or in Korean, the injong, would be the best place to do that. It's almost, again, another very sensitive area, possible knockout. So, Jean, can you do this one more time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here I am. I have her in a bear hug. Is a sideways view. So,
Help! Help! Help!
okay, all right. So that was what we considered the 5th one, right? The next one was what we call the insincere handshake, and let me show you a little bit more about this. We didn't have one of these plastic training knives with us. We couldn't bring them through security. They wouldn't let us, and I understand that 100%. But here in our school, which is called the Dojang, a place we come to study the way, we have plenty of these type of props, if you will, right? So this person could be shaking your hand here. Hi, you know, how you doing? Meanwhile, they've got a blade behind them and their intention is not good, right? They have a negative intention. We call this the insincere handshake, right? So if someone is doing that, right, they've got the handshake. Remember we taught you to turn your hand so your hand was facing upwards, the back of your hand, right? You stepped in with your left leg. Again, you're using your height advantage. You don't want to drop your knees. Place your arm underneath, and Gene, can you switch to that? See this way, please. I grab the shoulder, their left shoulder with my right hand, and their elbow is resting right on my arm. And again, the arm doesn't want to bend this way, and pull down. Right? Now there's a little bit added extra here where I'm pushing into the hand, and I get that wrist lock again. Did you see that? Right? And I was using my palm heel, right? This is the secret technique again, palm heel. So here was the technique. You can see her going up on her toes because the arm doesn't want to go that way, right? So Jean, why don't you do that facing this way? So she steps in a little bit, right? She steps in with her, and she pulls down. All right, one more time. Hey lady, how you doing? You know, boom. Okay, so she got the wrist lock and she got the arm lock. Okay, and again, that's called what we call the insincere handshake. Someone doesn't, they're not doing this for the person, for the purpose of friendship. That's not what that's there for. They have ulterior motives, right? Those were the basic techniques we showed you. Okay, now there was one that's labeled on your list, bonus technique, right? And we didn't actually practice this. I don't think we did. We may have, but I don't believe we did. This was the bear hug from behind again. Okay, and what we did this time is we dropped our weight by letting both legs come out, and we raised our hands in front of us to break the grip. And we reached in. Now, Jean, can you go down very easily? Yes. I don't want to hurt you. Yes. I grabbed her foot or his foot and I pulled it. Now you see how they went down? I pulled the leg out. I sat on the knee, to break the knee. That could be enough. Should be enough, right? But we don't assume that. We take the right hand, we place it on the foot, we turn it to our right side, and this is the hard part. The left hand came underneath the leg and grabbed our wrist, our right wrist, and we broke the ankle. And you can hear her tapping out. Right? Thank you, Jean.
Sure.
We'll leave it at that. I won't get into that one. But that's a complex technique. That's almost a teaser for you, right? That could be the way you can practice if you devote yourself to traditional Taekwondo. If you devote yourself to Lucille's program at the UN. She teaches a Taekwondo program at the UN. This was just introduction. Now, this as a standalone course is fine. What you've learned here will suffice for self-defense. But in traditional Taekwondo, there's a body of knowledge that will take you years and years and years to advance in, but with much enlightenment and much joy, right? So if you ever have any desire to become real martial artists, true martial art, not just a martial artist for a day, of course, speak to Lucille and she will guide you very well in the right direction, right? So that's pretty much it. I don't want to take any much more of your time. I want you to be able to practice this, and please use this video as often as you can. We'll leave it on our YouTube page. There is another one that we published a couple of years ago for our first soiree into the UN. That's a little bit different. You can view that if you want to, but we'll make sure we designate this one for that particular day, which was March 8th, right? The techniques were a little bit different. So first I want to thank Master Orlovsky for giving us our afternoon to video this. You can't see behind the camera, but that's my wife, Patty, who was there. And of course, I want to thank Patty for everything she does, not just this video. And I want to thank you for taking the time not to be victims, to make a conscious decision to attend that particular class, to try to not be victimized by an unprovoked attack. Some final comments. One is, if you do practice this with your significant other or friends, please do it slowly so you don't hurt them. And the other rule that you really need to point out to them is, for instance, when we're in a position like this and you're pressing down and they're starting to feel real discomfort, tell them to do what? Do you remember? Tap out. Give you the signal that stop, you're breaking my arm, stop, right? Pushing down. In any of those, what we call the Chosun techniques, tell your partner to tap out, all right? And lastly, in order to make these techniques successful in self-defense, you have to commit yourself 100% to it. You can't do it halfway because it'll fail you, right? And the equation that we write on our instruction sheet is skill, which we can teach you, plus will, which we can't teach you, that's your decision, equals escape, right? So techniques will work, but it will not work if you hesitate and just stand there like this, right? You have to fully commit to the technique. Jean, you have anything you want to add?
No, sir.
Okay, well, thank you ladies very much, and thank you, Lucille, also for your opportunity, for offering us the opportunity to be there. If you have any questions, this is, as you can see, the Chosun Taekwondo Academy, and we're located in Warwick, New York. If you have any questions, please call me if you'd like to. The number is 845-986-2288, or drop me a line, an email, let me know how you like this video if you want. And you can reach me at info@Chosun, that's CHOSUNTKD.com. And it's also listed on your instruction sheet, okay? So have a great day, have a nice Easter, and thank you again both for your help.